Election day for the Macon-Bibb County Consolidated Government is finally here. Many residents started their day at 7 o'clock this morning casting their votes. We had some reports of voters having some ballot problems at a couple different precincts. That includes the Hephzibah Children's Home in northwest Bibb County, and that is where Tom George is located this afternoon. Hi, Tom.
Well, good afternoon, Kenny. We are here at the Hephzibah Children's Home on Zebulon Road. Now, this all kind of began last week. We spoke with some of the election officials last week. They told us that they were hoping that by today a lot of these district confusion issues would have been resolved. They said that, unlike last week where everybody was voting at the early voting site with all 9 districts in one place, now there are only 1 or 2 districts in each precinct, and that's the same case here. They're in District 4 and District 6, but that has not stopped some of the confusion. We've had several voters walking out telling us they were given the wrong ballots. Now, one of those voters I spoke with, Vicki Smith, says she actually got a letter in the mail recently telling her that she was in District 4 and that the issue had been corrected, but when she got in, she got a District 6 ballot anyway.
I was intending to vote in District 4. And then when I get here on the ballot machine, there is no District 4. The only thing that's showing up is for mayor in District 6. So I cast my vote, but I'm sitting here saying, this is not right. So I backed myself back out, went back in, looked at it again, it's still saying District 6. So I go over here to the ladies in the polling district, and they said, well, you've already casted your vote. Now there's nothing we can do about it. I just seem to think this should have been taken care of before people come to the poll, because now in my eyes, it's a fraud. You know, the people you come to the poll to elect are not going to be a possibility of not being elected.
Now, in her case, she said that once the vote had been cast, she was not able to change it, and that's the advice that she has for other voters. If you go in there and you see that you are in the wrong district, do not cast the vote. You need to stop and tell a poll worker immediately, and they're going to call the Board of Elections, and if you are in the wrong district, they can correct it. But if you're in the wrong district, the best advice is to just not cast the vote and wait and tell them. Last week we were also told from Atlanta that they were going to be sending poll monitors this week. At least at this site yet, we have not seen any sign of them here yet, but we're going to keep following these district confusions. Back to you, Kenny.
All right, Tom, and as a footnote, I spoke to the Secretary of State's office a little earlier today. They told us they had multiple inspectors here in Bibb County today.
Tom George is live at Northeast High School, where poll workers say the voting's been pretty smooth today, Tom.
That's right, Frank and Laura. Things are running pretty smoothly here at Northeast High School. I want you to just take a quick look at what's going on here. Claudia's going to pan over here. You know, it's pretty steady flow. People are checking in and casting their ballots seemingly without any trouble. Poll workers here say they haven't had some of the issues that we have seen earlier. Now, earlier at Hephzibah Children's Home, another precinct I visited, several people told us they were given ballots for the wrong voting district. Now, I spoke with one voter who said that even though she got a letter in the mail stating she was in District 4, she was given a District 6 ballot at the precinct today. Now, Vicki Smith says several of her neighbors have had the same problem.
I don't know, I've heard a lot of things that's gone on with this election, of people casting their votes and not getting counted, and just makes you wonder now, is this going to be counted? It's not correct, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Now, I also went to Ingleside Methodist Church, which was having some of the same issues there between District 5 and District 9. Some voters were having some confusion as to what district they were in. Now, the main thing that poll workers say is if you do get to the voting booth and you see your ballot and you question whether you're in that district, what you need to do is stop immediately and tell them. They will call the board, and if it turns out you are in the wrong district, they will check it for you and fix it. Back to you guys.
All right, Tom George reporting live at Northeast High School. Polls open again until 7 o'clock tonight. Again, as Tom said, if you get a ballot you don't think it's right, you need to notify a poll worker immediately. So far, they say they've seen very few complaints. Let's rejoin Tom George live at Northeast High School to tell us what's happening there.
Hey guys, well, we are back live here at Northeast High School, where there is just about an hour and a half left to vote. There have been a lot more people trickling in recently for the dinner hour, but they said it's been pretty much smooth for most of the day today. And I am joined now by Thomas Dixon. He is a poll worker here. You know, Thomas, what has it been like so far over the course of the day?
It's been a multitude of voters coming out today, and it's been pretty smooth. We have numbers up in the high 500s as of now.
And, you know, in other precincts, we've had a lot of these issues where people may have been placed in the wrong districts. I know here you guys are in both District 2 and District 3. Has most of that been able to be handled at the desk or at the ballot box? People have had issues?
Well, pretty much all the problems have been handled at the desk before they make it to the ballot box.
And what are you expecting over the next hour and a half? I know you're probably going to maybe have a rush of people, wanting to get in before 7 o'clock.
Well, as long as they get in before 7, everything should be good, but I think it's going to be a very high number of voters still coming out.
Well, as Thomas said, the polls are still open for another hour and a half. They close at 7 o'clock, but again, as he said, as long as you are in the door by 7 o'clock, you will be allowed to vote. So if you're watching and you haven't voted, you have plenty of time to get out and do so. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Tom, from Northeast High School.
We're back live here at Northeast High School in East Macon, where we have quite a bit of a line forming about 5 minutes ago. I want to take a quick look over here. There's a line forming here. There's less than an hour to vote. People are starting to come in, trying to get their ballot in time before the polls close at 7. But now this election today hasn't been without some issues. Earlier today, I was at the Hephzibah Children's Home on Zebulon Road in North Macon area, and over there was some voters who had some confusion as to which district they were in. I spoke to one voter who was supposed to be in District 4 but got a ballot for District 6. Now she says by the time she tried to get it corrected, she had already cast the vote and was not able to get it changed.
I guess I should have stopped, but not really realizing what to do. I'm like, well, maybe they changed the district again since I received this letter.
Right.
So I went ahead, cast my vote, then went over there and pulled my letter out of my pocketbook to show to the ladies, and she said at this point there was nothing they could do, that my vote was casted, and that's the end of it.
Now, another area that had an issue was the polling place at Ingleside Methodist Church. That's in the Vineville 7 precinct. Now, just to give you an idea of what was going on, I actually spoke with one voter who ended up casting his ballot on District 5. His wife cast her ballot in District 9, and they had a neighbor that cast their ballot in District 4. Now, all of them are on the same small street, so there was a lot of confusion going on, and I spoke with the poll worker in that precinct, Hazel Couch, who has actually been a poll worker for 63 years and has never seen anything like that before, but she found herself on the phone with the Board of Elections several times today.
We call the elections office and ask them, and they tell us which district they're supposed to be in, and if they are in the district they say they are, the commission seat, then we change it in the DRE machine.
Now, again, you can hear some of the commotion behind me as some people come in to cast their ballots. There's a little less than an hour left. But again, the poll workers say as long as you are in the door by 7 o'clock, you will be able to cast your vote. So if you haven't gotten out yet, there is still time to come on out and vote. Back to you guys.
All right, Tom George reporting live at Northeast High School. Check back in with Tom a little bit later in this newscast. All right, still time to head out to the polls to cast your ballot in the new consolidated government election for Macon-Bibb.
We head back to Northeast High School, where Tom George is, to see how voting is going. Tom, what's it look like?
Hey, well, we are back here at Northeast High School, where there is around half an hour left to vote. There is still time. People are still lining up to cast their ballot. Now, just a quick reminder, you do need a picture ID to vote. They'll check that in when you get in, and then there's a sign-in process, which is going on behind me. From there, I want you to take a quick look. Those are the ballots. No one is actually at them right now, but there are people checking in, and once they've checked in, they will go over there, and it's only a couple-minute process before you can go vote. And if you do run into issues casting your ballot, you can tell a poll worker. And hey, when it's all done, you get one of these. It's a I'm a Georgia voter sticker, which I gotta say, Frank, is probably one of the coolest looking I voted stickers in the country.
Yeah, the old peach look, yeah, going all out. All right, thanks very much, Tom George reporting live.
Hey, well, this is it, Election Central here at the Board of Elections on Pionona in Macon. I want you to take a quick look at the scene behind me. It's starting to gather here. People are actively looking at the screen right here. There's a combination of gaggle of media and elected officials and some of the candidates and just some excited citizens. They're all looking at the screen, and actually behind me over there, this is actually the room where the early voting took place. You can see some of the boxes locked up. About 10 minutes ago, they were starting to put those away, and now everybody is looking at the results screen right over there. Right now, there's 3 out of 40 precincts reporting, it says. It's unclear if those are from all those early votes. The last check in the mayor's race, I saw around 700 votes for Jack Ellis and around 200 for Rickert, but again, those are very early, and they're still crunching those numbers. And of course, we will have more from you live here at the Board of Elections later on tonight. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks very much, Tom. We'll join you in just a bit from the Board of Elections.
Well, we're back here at the Board of Elections, and it's been a couple of hours since the polls have closed, and now both the amount of people and the numbers are starting to trickle in here. You can see behind me there's quite a crowd. I want you to take a quick look. There's a lot of representatives from campaigns, and there's actually some faces that I saw at some of the polling sites earlier that are actually representative campaigns. There were poll watchers, poll workers that have now made their way over here to start listening to the results come in. And also back there, behind the crowds of people, there is a window. And behind that window, that's where all the number crunching is going on, and they're tabulating all the results that have come in, both the early votes that were cast here last week and the votes from today. And those numbers are going to keep coming in, and we will have more from you live later on. Back to you guys.
At some of the polls, Tom George has been at the Board of Elections in Macon, watching as the election results come in. We join him now to kind of tell us what's going on. Tom.
Yeah, we're back here at the Board of Elections where right now they're busy tabulating, but earlier they were taking calls from some precincts. You know, they were voting here at the Board of Elections last week for early voting, but today was at the precincts. But they still had staff here taking calls about some voters facing still some of those issues that we saw last week where people were being placed in the wrong districts. I talked to some of those voters today. Take a listen. At the Hephzibah Children's Home on Zebulon Road, Vicki Smith walked in expecting to cast her vote in one district, but ended up with a ballot from another one.
I just seem to think this should have been taken care of before people come to the poll, because now in my eyes it's a fraud. You know, the people you come to the poll to elect are not going to be a possibility of not being elected.
She got a letter from the Board of Elections saying she was in District 4 but got a District 6 ballot, and says several neighbors had the same issue. Since she already voted, there was nothing that could be done.
I guess I should have stopped, but not really realizing what to do. I'm like, you know, well, maybe they changed the district again since I received this letter.
Across town at the Ingleside Methodist Church, some voters also experienced mix-ups between Districts 4, 5, and 9. Poll worker Hazel Couch said she had to call the board to verify several times.
If they ask us, we check it, we call the elections board and we check it, and then we can, when they give us permission, we can change them, and we change them to the right district.
In one case, the call to the board took so long that a voter just cast the wrong ballot to save time. Couch says if a voter doesn't know their district, there's no way to verify unless they ask. Do you think there could be people that maybe didn't know what district they were in and maybe slipped through the cracks?
Yes, they could have voted on the wrong ballot if they didn't know and we didn't know, so yeah, it could have happened.
Now, the big question is how those voting issues are going to impact the final tallies in those 9 commissioners' races, and those numbers are still being tabulated. I want you to take a quick look at what's going on behind the magic window. Earlier, the printers were clicking away and printing out the tabulations. I saw, both absentee ballots coming in and being scanned, as well as cards being cast from the actual precincts and from the early voting. And again, those numbers still coming in as we speak, and they're still counting those, and of course we will have more for you on that live with those numbers on those important races as they come in. Back to you guys.
And how do those totals include early voting is what we want to know.
We go to Tom George now. He joins us from the Board of Elections live on Pinehone Avenue. Tom.
Hey, well, things are really getting down to the wire here and starting to get exciting. I just spoke with Steve Allen from the Board of Elections. He said all the absentee paper votes have already been counted, so what is left is the early votes. And I want to show you something real quick. It all comes down to that guy with the blue shirt right there and the tie. He has the orange floppy disk. That is the magic disk that once they are done tabulating will have the remainder of the election hanging in the balance. No pressure, though, but Once they tabulate that in there, that will go onto the disk, which will go eventually into the server and be updated onto the website. Now, those early votes, they're expecting around 8,000 outstanding votes, which, given the amount already cast, is a very significant amount, of course. And, of course, we will have those numbers for you as soon as we get them on that orange floppy disk. Back to you guys.
The orange floppy disk, is that what it all comes down to?
Apparently, I don't know.
And the guy in the blue shirt, he's literally in the hot seat.
It was a laid-back crew, though.
Yeah, that's right.